Our planet is changing. Temperatures are rising, ice is melting, and the consequences are becoming more evident with each passing year. The polar ice caps, once vast and seemingly eternal, are now retreating at an alarming rate. This melting ice is not just a distant problem, it has far-reaching effects on global sea levels and weather patterns. Weather patterns are becoming more extreme and unpredictable. We are witnessing an increase in the frequency and intensity of hurricanes, floods and wildfires. These natural disasters are not only devastating to human communities, but also to the ecosystems that countless species call home. This phenomenon, known as climate change, presents a significant challenge to life on Earth, particularly for wildlife. Animals are struggling to find food and water in increasingly harsh conditions. Coral reefs, which support a vast array of marine life, are suffering from bleaching events that threaten their very existence. Animals in all their diverse forms are facing a planet increasingly different from the one they evolved to inhabit. The habitats they once thrived in are changing rapidly, forcing them to adapt or perish. From the arid deserts to the lush rainforests, no ecosystem is immune to the impacts of climate change. The natural world is resilient, capable of remarkable adaptation. Many species have developed unique strategies to cope with their changing environments. Some use camouflage to blend into new surroundings, while others migrate to more hospitable areas. These adaptations are a testament to the incredible resilience of life on Earth, yet the rapid pace of climate change is testing the limits of these adaptations. Polar bears, for example, are finding it increasingly difficult to hunt on thinning ice. Animals in drought-stricken areas are traveling greater distances in search of water, and some species are moving to higher altitudes to escape the heat. The very survival of many species hinges on their ability to adjust to these new conditions. Critically endangered species are particularly vulnerable as they have fewer individuals to adapt and reproduce. Some animals are even adapting to urban environments, finding new ways to coexist with humans in cities and towns. Across the globe, from the icy poles to the lush rainforests, animals are demonstrating remarkable resilience in the face of these challenges. Penguins in Antarctica are adjusting their breeding cycles. Monkeys in rainforests are altering their diets. And elephants in savannas are changing their migration routes. They are altering their behaviors, shifting their ranges, and even changing their feeding habits to survive. Birds are changing their migration patterns, traveling to new areas where food is more abundant. Other animals are moving to new habitats, seeking out environments that can support their needs. In some cases, species are undergoing physical changes, evolving new traits that help them cope with the new realities of their environments. These adaptations are a desperate bid to survive in a world that is changing faster than ever before. The resilience and adaptability of wildlife are truly remarkable, but the challenges they face are immense and ongoing. In the Arctic, the iconic polar bear faces a shrinking hunting ground. Sea ice, vital for their seal hunting, is melting at an alarming rate. Polar bears are powerful swimmers, but they are not equipped for long-distance swims in open ocean. They rely on ice floes as platforms to ambush seals, their primary food source. As the ice retreats, polar bears are forced to travel farther and expend more energy in search of food. This is particularly challenging for mothers with cubs who rely on the mother's hunting success for their survival. The consequences are dire, malnourished bears, declining populations, and a future uncertain. Birds, masters of the sky, are also feeling the impact of climate change. Their migrations, timed with meticulous precision over millennia, are being disrupted. Spring arrives earlier in many parts of the world, and with it the emergence of insects and the blooming of flowers. Birds that rely on these cues to time their arrival and breeding are finding themselves out of sync. They may arrive to find their food sources depleted or nesting sites already occupied. These mismatches can have cascading effects on bird populations, impacting their survival and reproduction. Amphibians, creatures that straddle the worlds of water and land, are particularly susceptible to changes in temperature and precipitation. Their permeable skin makes them vulnerable to dehydration, and their reliance on both aquatic and terrestrial habitats exposes them to a double whammy of climate change impacts. Rising temperatures and altered rainfall patterns are shrinking the availability of suitable breeding sites for many amphibians. Changes in water temperature and quality can also affect the development of their eggs and larvae. These sensitive creatures are often the first to show signs of stress in a changing environment. Section 5. The silent suffering of the seas. The ocean, covering over 70% of our planet's surface, is not immune to the impacts of climate change. It is a vast, dynamic system that plays a crucial role in regulating the Earth's climate and supporting a diverse array of life forms. You see, as the ocean absorbs excess carbon dioxide from the atmosphere, it becomes more acidic. This is a direct consequence of human activities, such as the burning of fossil fuels and deforestation, which release large amounts of CO2 into the air. This process, known as ocean acidification, poses a serious threat to marine life, particularly organisms with shells and skeletons made of calcium carbonate. These include shellfish like oysters, clams, and mussels, as well as certain types of plankton that form the base of the marine food web. Corals, the architects of some of the most biodiverse ecosystems on Earth, are particularly vulnerable. These vibrant underwater structures provide habitat and shelter for countless marine species, making them essential to the health of the ocean. Ocean acidification makes it harder for them to build and maintain their skeletons. The increased acidity interferes with the process of calcification, which is crucial for the growth and repair of coral reefs. This can lead to coral bleaching, a phenomenon where corals expel the symbiotic algae that give them their vibrant colors and provide them with food. Without these algae, the corals not only lose their color, but also their primary source of nutrition, leading to widespread reef degradation. The loss of coral reefs has a cascading effect on marine ecosystems. Many species of fish and other marine organisms depend on healthy coral reefs for food, shelter, and breeding grounds. The decline of coral reefs can therefore lead to a reduction in marine biodiversity and the collapse of local fisheries. Human communities that rely on the ocean for their livelihoods are also affected. Coastal communities, particularly in developing countries, depend on healthy marine ecosystems for food security, tourism, and economic stability. The degradation of these ecosystems can have profound social and economic impacts. Addressing the silent suffering of the seas requires global cooperation and concerted efforts to reduce carbon emissions, protect marine habitats, and promote sustainable practices. By taking action now, we can help preserve the health of our oceans for future generations. Section 6. Adapting to survive. Despite these challenges, there are glimmers of hope. Animals are proving to be remarkably adaptable, displaying a range of responses to the changing climate. Some species are shifting their ranges, moving to higher altitudes or latitudes in search of cooler temperatures. Others are altering their behaviors, such as changing their feeding habits or breeding seasons to better cope with the new conditions. And some species are even undergoing physical changes, such as evolving larger body sizes or different coloration to adapt to their changing environment. Section 7. The speed of change. The key question is whether these adaptations can keep pace with the rapid rate of climate change. The Earth's climate has changed before, but never at this speed. Species that were once able to adapt over centuries or millennia are now facing changes within decades. This unprecedented rate of change is what makes the current situation so dire. The ability of animals to adapt is not infinite. There are limits to how much change a species can tolerate before it reaches a tipping point. If the environment changes too quickly or too drastically, even the most adaptable species may not be able to keep up. Section 8. Our role in their future. The fate of wildlife in a changing climate is inextricably linked to our own. We are not merely observers of these changes, we are active participants. Our actions have consequences, and the choices we make today will determine the future of life on Earth, both for ourselves and for the countless other species with whom we share this planet. We have a responsibility to mitigate climate change by reducing our greenhouse gas emissions. We also have a responsibility to help wildlife adapt by protecting and restoring habitats, reducing other threats, and supporting research into adaptation strategies. Section 9. A shared destiny. This chapter delves into the profound connection between humanity and the natural world, emphasizing our collective responsibility to protect and preserve it. The challenges posed by climate change are immense, but they are not insurmountable. From the melting glaciers that threaten coastal communities to the deforestation that endangers countless species, the evidence of our impact on the planet is undeniable. Extreme weather events are becoming more frequent and severe, affecting millions of lives and livelihoods. Polar bears, once the kings of the Arctic, now struggle to find stable ice to hunt and live on. By working together, we can create a future where both people and wildlife can thrive. Community-driven initiatives such as tree planting and wildlife conservation efforts demonstrate the power of collective action. When humans and animals coexist peacefully, we see the true potential of a harmonious world. These efforts not only restore habitats, but also bring communities closer, fostering a sense of shared purpose and hope. Let us not be remembered as the generation that stood by and watched as the natural world crumbled around us. Historical footage of environmental destruction serves as a stark reminder of the consequences of inaction. Animals in endangered habitats and forests being cut down are not just images, they are calls to action. We have the knowledge and the tools to make a difference, and it is our duty to use them. Let us be the generation that rose to the challenge and secured a future for all life on Earth. The youth climate protests and the tireless work of activists around the world inspire us to take bold steps. Renewable energy projects and restored natural landscapes show us what is possible when we commit to change. These efforts are paving the way for a sustainable future, one where the environment and humanity can flourish together. The story of life on Earth is one of resilience, adaptation, and interconnectedness. Animals adapting to different environments and ecosystems recovering are testaments to the incredible resilience of nature. Diverse wildlife in their habitats reminds us of the beauty and complexity of the natural world. Our actions today will determine the future of these ecosystems and the countless species that depend on them. The challenges we face today are unprecedented, but so too is our understanding of the natural world and our ability to effect change. Scientists conducting research in the field and technological advancements in conservation are providing us with new tools and insights. Educational nature programs are raising awareness and inspiring the next generation to take action. Together, these efforts are building a foundation for a more sustainable and harmonious future. The future is not preordained, it is ours to shape. Let us choose wisely. Children playing in nature and futuristic green cities represent the possibilities of a world where eco-friendly choices are the norm. Thriving wildlife in natural habitats shows us the rewards of our efforts. The decisions we make today will shape the world of tomorrow. Let us commit to a shared destiny where all life can prosper